At the electrifying event at Martinsville Speedway, drama unfolded not just on the track, but off it too. The crowd was buzzing not just with the aggressive racing, but with the shocking words from team owner Richard Chiss directed towards one of his own drivers. The tension was palpable, as loyalties seemed to blur, and the intensity of championship stakes took center stage. Stay tuned to NASCAR Zone, because we are diving into the chaos of that fateful night. But before we jump and hit that subscribe button, during this special mid-weekend episode, the energy was high and the atmosphere is electrifying. The deviation from the usual schedule was due to the unfolding Xfinity Series events that had the entire racing community on the edge of their seats. The intensity of the competition was palpable as only two coveted spots remained up for grabs in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The atmosphere at the racetrack was palpable as the final restart loomed, with merely 2 laps separating the racers from victory or defeat. As the cars realigned and prepared for what would be the defining moment of the race, the positions of the competitors and their respective stakes were the hot topic of discussion among spectators, commentators, and pit crews alike. Austin Hill, a skilled and determined racer, was in a particularly precarious position. For him, the objective was clear, yet daunting. He had to secure a top 3 finish. The significance of this wasn't just about prestige or adding another accolade to his racing resume. The top 3 finish would potentially grant him crucial points, a favorable standing in the series, and could influence his career trajectory in the seasons to come. However, Austin's mission wasn't going to be easy, especially with the challenge posed by Sheldon Creed. Creed wasn't just another competitor. He was a racer with a burning need to win this race. Not only was a victory essential for Creed's standing and self-esteem, but it also had a deeper undertone given the context surrounding his racing career. To understand the weight of this race for Creed, one must delve into the recent events off the track. Sheldon Creed was on the verge of an exit from Richard Childress Racing, a significant and influential team in the racing world. The reasons for this impending departure were diverse and layered, ranging from internal team dynamics, strategic decisions, to potential differences in vision for the future. Such a departure could significantly impact Creed's immediate future in the sport. As the engines roared to life and the 2 laps commenced, spectators were torn between cheering for Hill's strategic need to clinch a top 3 spot and Creed's desperate attempt to crown his stint with Richard Childress Racing with one final victory. Every second counted, every maneuver was critical, and the outcome was uncertain until the very last moment, making it one of the most thrilling race events of the season. Austin Hill initially gained momentum, his vehicle's engine emitting a triumphant roar. It seemed as though he had the advantage. However, Sheldon Creed, with his inherent knack for seizing opportunities, found a gap and began to inch closer to Hill, their tires nearly brushing against each other in their high-speed dance. But as racing often reminds us, it's a sport of unpredictability. Just when it seemed the focus was solely on Hill and Creed, an unexpected twist occurred. From the corner of the eye, one could see another vehicle making its move. Justin Haley, seizing an opportunity created by the intense duel in front of him, began to accelerate, his car moving with a purpose and precision that caught everyone off guard. With a burst of speed and an impeccably timed maneuver, Justin Haley edged ahead, crossing the finish line by mere inches, stealing the victory from under the noses of both Hill and Creed. The repercussions of this climactic moment were immediate and significant. Austin Hill, perhaps thrown off by the sudden contention and the pressure of the duel, lost control. His car spun out, leaving a trail of smoke and desolation in its wake. This spinout not only cost him the race, but also significant points in standings. Meanwhile, amid the chaos, another narrative was unfolding. Cole Custer, through consistent performance and strategic maneuvers throughout the race, found himself catapulting ahead in points. His leap in the rankings was a testament to the fact that in racing, while the spotlight often focuses on the leaders, it's the consistent performers who sometimes reap the most rewards. If you agree, then hit that subscribe button. As analysts and fans alike began to dissect the race's pivotal moments, one factor became glaringly evident. miscommunication between drivers. Such lapses can stem from various sources: the high-pressure environment, minor technical glitches, or even human errors in judgment. When races are won or lost by mere inches, such miscommunications can be the difference between glory and despair. Austin Hill, a central figure in the race's denouement, was quick to voice his perspective.
I mean, I know Sheldon has to win to get in, but I mean, at least give me a chance. Didn't feel like I was given a chance. And then when he got like shoved up the racetrack or whatever happened, I haven't seen the replay getting into 3, but whenever he went up the racetrack, he just parked it in the center of the corner and blew the radiator out of it. So I had no power coming off 4, and that's why I wrecked. So I cannot wait for him to get out of RCR. Can't wait to have Jesse Love as a teammate. Maybe he'll work better with me. Just cannot wait for him to get over to Joe Gibbs Racing. I don't have to put up with this shit no more.
The tension between the two was evident, not just on the track, but in the words exchanged afterward. However, as is often the case in the digital age, perspectives can evolve in real time. Upon revisiting the event's footage, Austin Hill took to Twitter to modify his initial stance. Whether it was a new angle, a clearer mind, or the broader public's reaction, Hill's follow-up tweets suggested a more nuanced understanding of the event, hinting at possible regrets or second thoughts about his earlier comments or actions during the race. Sheldon Creed, not one to shy away from voicing his opinions, responded to Hill's comments.
They clearly like him, you know, and he's done a really good job, and he's won 4 races this year, so I'm so happy to be going where I'm going, and I'm just proud of my guys for giving me a car capable today, you know, to be there at the end and have a shot at that. This place always ends, you know, and just dirty racing and that, so they're all going to be mad. I got one more race left, and I'm going to go and leave it all on the table for my guys because they deserve that. I felt like I played pretty nice most of the night. I think I got the 7 up off the bottom once, but honestly, I played nice till the end there, and I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I pushed him up off the bottom, but I didn't dirty him up. I didn't spit him out, and I gave him a chance to finish second. You know, had I gone in there and wrecked him like Ty did to Brandon last year, different story. So I feel like I did what I had to do for my guys to win. They deserve that, and yeah, they're going to be upset.
The tension on the track between Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed had already set the stage for what was to come. However, the situation reached a boiling point when it became evident that RCR was deeply displeased with Creed's actions during the race. As the team representing Austin Hill, this disagreement wasn't entirely unexpected. However, the intensity of the reactions was. In a public display of this discontent, Andy Petrie, a notable figure from the racing team, confronted Sheldon Creed on pit road. While the exact words and the intensity of the confrontation remain a topic of discussion, there's no doubt that it underscored the heightened emotions of the day. But perhaps the most resounding voice of dissent came from Richard Childress himself. Known for his passion for the sport and his team, Childress didn't mince words when expressing his strong reservations about Creed's actions on the track. These were not mere passing remarks. They carried the weight of a seasoned veteran and a significant stakeholder in the racing community. The immediacy and strength of his response suggests that this was more than just a singular event's outcome. It hinted at potential future dynamics within the racing community. And that's all for this video. Hit that like button and subscribe.